Hey there. So, you've tried out what it's like to actually act on your joy. Make sure that this is what you've actually tried out. It's important for the continuation of this course that you've actually put this to practice. So don't cheat yourself out of this. Actually prioritize your joy for the past 2 days. And then now we're going to add a balancing point to this, because you may have noticed that at certain circumstances, you may have been really excited for something, or at least thought or defined something as really exciting. But then the idea comes up, yeah, but what about my partner? Or what about my boss? Or what about my job? Or what about my friends? Or what about my child? Or what about the agreement that I've made to someone else? So then you reach this point of not being sure what to do. This paradox of wanting to honor your own integrity to your alignment, to your resonance, to your excitement, wanting to trust in your excitement, because isn't that what the higher self is communicating to us? Yes. But then what about integrity? What about respecting other people? What about honoring the agreements we have made? And this definitely is an important aspect of the journey. This definitely is very valuable to appreciate and to not just glance over and like, okay, you know, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do because it feels good. That's not the idea, although it is. But we need to clarify the idea of what it is that feels good. And if it feels good because of our resonance, because of true energetic resonance, or whether it feels good because we have defined something else as negative, therefore that seems like a relief. A very important difference, right? So some things may seem like they're really appealing to us, but it might just be because they symbolize a certain type of freedom to us that we want. It may not actually be the symbol. We may not actually want to chase after the thing that represents this freedom to us. We may simply want to embody what that idea, that symbol of chasing after that particular thing means to us. How does it mean freedom? How does it mean more of ourselves that we're presently suppressing? And how can we integrate that into our lives? So start recognizing the difference between when you're truly, truly, truly excited about something, truly on fire, it feels truly aligning, and or when you are simply defining something as being offering more relief than the thing that you don't want to deal with. The definitions you've wrapped around your personal life, for example, therefore perhaps drugs seems like, well, that is exciting because it feels good. That's not exactly what I mean when I say follow your excitement. You have to be really honest with yourself as well, and clearly be able to distinguish more and more clearly, which you will be able to with practice. So don't feel like you can make a mistake. Simply practice, bump into these challenges, and you will refine your wisdom, your clarity, your ability to distinguish between these two ways of feeling good. So one is always an escape from something else. And the true resonance is simply it excites you because that thing excites you and you're actually meant to go in that direction. And it feels complete and it feels whole, and it might feel even a little bit scary because it's cutting edge for you. It challenges your belief system. But something that feels good because you're avoiding something else, you're avoiding negative beliefs you have placed upon something that is present in your life. Therefore, you wish to avoid that thing, because as soon as you encounter that thing in your life, what you really encounter is how far you've placed your own vibrational position about that thing, your point of view about that thing, out of alignment with the truth of abundance, freedom, and empowerment. You may have, for example, created a lot of sense of obligation and fear and stress around this certain object or event or thing or partner, perhaps even, or other person or event. Therefore, you don't want to think about that. You would rather do drugs. This is just an example. It can be anything. Eat a cookie or go out and start a company. That can even be a distraction. So you have to be really aware of this process and ask yourself, am I avoiding something? If so, then first look at that thing and see how you've gained negative lack beliefs about that event. And what you feel is not the event. The event is not painful and stressful. Your out of alignmentness with yourself is what feels stressful. You only ever feel the degree to which you position yourself in or out of alignment with your true self. You've never experienced an emotion. You've never experienced a circumstance. You only experience the degree to which you remove yourself from yourself or place yourself back in alignment with your true self, right? So that's just sort of a side note, but it's a crucial, important side note, that you have to be honest with yourself, especially when it comes to these things that are about to break or change your agreements with beings or things or contracts that are important to you in your life. So then, the 3 fundamental rules to help you understand integrity. Like I said, you start following your joy, and then you come to this point, this crucial point, where it seems like you have to make a choice between an existing agreement that you have with your life, with your partner, with your kid, with your parents, with your business associate, with your boss, whatever it may be, and something that truly excites you that seems to somehow negate or avoid or counter or oppose your existing agreements. Now, when you're really clear that the new direction is truly what you want and that you have no place left in your existing agreement, how do you go about that? Like, how do you balance that out? How do you include integrity? So what I wrote down here is that the first rule of integrity, I got 3 fundamental rules. The first rule of integrity is everything in existence can and does coexist. See this as a universal principle. So know in your heart that all possible chosen realities can be coexistent and they will coexist. So there's no need to see creation as having to fit into one singular reality. Yes, ultimately it is all one singular reality. It's all one single being expressing itself in infinite ways. But it generates infinite parallel realities precisely because it wants to express itself in infinite ways. And it cannot express itself in infinite ways if it only creates one particular paradigm or creation or reality with one certain set of laws. It has to create infinite slices within its own one singular point of beingness that then can completely coexist and express completely and explore completely different themes and desires and preferences. So rule number 1 of integrity, the first rule of integrity, is everything can and does coexist. Everything in existence can and does coexist. The second rule of integrity is respect another's free will. This will all become intuitive, by the way, but for now it's just sort of handy to start with some basic ideas or quote-unquote rules that you can fall back on if you're in doubt and gain some clarity from, and then sharpen your own intuition. At some point you don't need to think about this anymore. So the second rule of integrity, respect another's free will. This is paramount. This is crucial. This is crucial for me on a daily basis. In fact, the more evolved in a sense you become, spiritually speaking or consciousness speaking, the finer that balance of love and wisdom becomes, of your spiritual journey becomes, the finer your vision becomes, your clarity becomes. It becomes more and more important to honor people's free will. It's just one of these fundamental principle, sort of first law kind of ideas that applies throughout all of creation and on all levels of consciousness. And therefore it's crucial that if you wish to align yourself even further, if you wish to expand even further, if you wish to fine-tune your balanced beingness even further, then at some point respecting other people's free will or other beings' free will becomes of paramount importance. So the second rule is respect other people's free will. So that also means that you know in your heart that you are free to choose your reality, whereas other portions of creation or other beings are completely free to choose their reality. So again, that's the coexistence idea. You don't have to feel like you have to stay stuck in a particular reality that belongs to them, nor should you have the idea or harbor the idea or feeling that other people should stay in your reality because that's what your reality dictates, right? So it's very important that you feel free to make your choices and see that other people are free to make their choices. So you can inspire by example, but not impose or infringe upon their free will. You can offer what you know, you can offer what works for you, you can offer what excites you, but then it is up to them to either absorb that, take that, merge with that, or move away from that. And that needs to be respected. It's very crucial. Third rule of integrity is there is no lack anywhere in existence. If you would really fully get this single principle, then very naturally you would act within integrity. Because we only act in ways that are out of integrity because we believe there is something lacking, because we believe we lack something, and therefore we need to get the thing we desire at the expense of what everyone else desires. So another way to put this rule of integrity, that there is no lack anywhere in existence, is to say that you don't have to deprive anyone else of what they desire in order for you to be able to choose and create what you desire. Now, this is a very liberating principle, conviction. So make it your own. So I'll repeat, you don't have to deprive anyone else or anything else of what they desire in order for you to choose and create what you desire. Again, coexistence of realities, therefore there's never any lack. Therefore you can be free to choose what you desire, they can be free to choose what they desire, and it doesn't ever have to conflict or be at war with each other. You don't have to steal and deprive because there's infinite parallel realities available. Whatever you desire is somewhere for you. In your own consciousness, it can be generated if you just tap into that frequency and start exuding it and start acting on your breadcrumb trail of joy and excitement. You will generate the reality you desire. You don't have to rush it and steal it from someone else or like deprive them of something they desire so that you can have what you desire, right? So that's another fundamental principle of integrity in my experience, in my opinion. So in addition to those 3 rules that are sort of universal principles when it comes to integrity, as I've experienced them, here's 4 steps to help you master integrity in your everyday life. So what does the following your joy while maintaining your integrity look like? That's one of the questions that allows this to become practical. What does that look like in everyday life when these 2 are balanced? And how do I do that? How do I actually approach that? To know of those sort of universal rules is fun, but how do I apply this? So simply ask yourself the question whenever you are excited about something that you doubt is in or out of alignment. You ask yourself the first question. So this is step 1. When following what excites you, check in with yourself if you are about to break any existing agreements. So something excites you and it seems to, at least on the surface of it, it seems to contradict or move away from certain agreements that you've made with people or businesses or contracts. So then ask yourself the question, by choosing my excitement, am I breaking any existing agreements, promises, or contracts? If not, go for it. Enjoy yourself, have fun, and you'll feel 100% congruent about your choice. It'll just feel exciting, you won't be looking back at anyone or anything, you won't be having any regrets. Excellent. Now, if not, if it does break any existing agreements and promises, then you continue with step 2. So step 2 is communicate clearly, honestly, fearlessly, and in as kind a way as possible. So find out to whom or which party that you need to communicate your change of heart before being able to comfortably take action on your new direction of excitement. If at all possible, then proceed to communicate with them as clearly as you can. So your excitement does seem to oppose something, it does seem to break some existing agreements if you were to execute that excitement. Now you don't want to go there without communicating, because then you'll be pulling yourself back at some point, because integrity will force yourself back. You will be looking back, you'll be regretting your choices, you will not be feeling good about yourself, and you want your choices to be 100% in alignment. So before you make those choices that you're doubtful about, whether or not they break agreements, first try to communicate as clearly as you can. Try to clear the slate, try to start clean, start fresh, have your fundamental foundation be clear. So then you communicate as clearly, as honestly, as fearlessly, and as kindly as you can to the parties involved in that agreement. You try to change the agreement by communicating that you've had a change of heart and that your resonance is really important for you. You wish to follow your resonance, you wish to follow what excites you, you wish for them to follow what excites them, and right now you just feel really strongly that you wish to change direction, right? Now, if you are not in any way possible to communicate before taking the new action, search your heart for the most balanced decision, keeping in mind the 3 fundamental rules of integrity, and then take it from there. So this is where rubber meets the road. This is where sometimes, you can't really predict what a situation is going to be like, and you have to go with your intuition. You have to just go with the clearest that you can come up with in that moment and just try your very best. I've had many, many experiences of this, many, many paradoxes. And honestly, I can say that this has expanded me and my wisdom and my integrity and my maturity so much. So don't fear those sort of gray area experiences, because they teach you to rely on your own intuition rather than the rules that I gave you, for example. So those will really test you, and those will really challenge you to stay true to your intuition and just try your best to maintain both integrity to your resonance while simultaneously maintaining integrity to other beings and agreements you've made. Learn from what follows, forgive yourself and or others when necessary, and fine-tune your balance in mastering the art of integrity, right? So this is the step 2. This all still belongs to step 2. Communicate honestly, fearlessly, clearly, in as kind of way as possible. If you can't communicate, then trust your instincts, trust your intuition, do your very best, learn from the experience, forgive what needs to be forgiven, and fine-tune this process.